Hello and welcome back to part 9 of my Let's Play of Disco Elysium. I'm picking back up on audio, cool, so we're just gonna jump straight into it. We'll see how much more progress we can make before it gets too late. It's pretty late already, it's already like 1 a.m. West Coast. I might have a couple hours left in there, but we'll see. Okay. Be with this person. Cell. A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels on the ice with an electronic contraption in her hand, hearing you approach you.
Oh, hello there.
Cold out here, but she's not wearing a hat. She must be freezing. Everyone knows drugs make you invulnerable to cold. You bet this one likes to party. Dear child, it's freezing. Where's your hat? He looks up at you, distracted. I said you should have a hat on.
So should you.
I do. You don't have to do it. I do. Point at your hat.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Nice, you should wear one too if you plan on staying outside in this weather.
Yeah, well... Look, man, fuck the hat.
Your pulse rises. What did she just say? That's not how a civilian is supposed to address an officer of the law. Let's do this and fail. Lots of feeling. Feel it up. Way up. Oh my god, fuck the hat? Is that what you just said to me? I can't believe you told me to fuck the hat. You're really saying it loud, but it's not coming out right. Maybe add more indigestion. So I should just take this hat I'm wearing and fuck it, right? Point at your head where your hat is located. Engage in sexual intercourse with the hat right here in front of you because you told me so on the sea ice. More. Right here on the sea ice. More. Give you a little ice cop hat, fuck show. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. The girl is visibly shaken. The lieutenant is watching the scene unfold before his eyes, unsure how to react. Is that how you see me? The girl looks down, slowly curling into a ball. That's it. You've earned it. Start crying. Life's hard. Start crying. The young woman has her eyes trained on her wires, waiting for the sorry spectacle to end, but it's gone awful quiet up there. Then the sound of sobbing. Looking up, she sees a grown man on the wrong side of 40, his face bloated from alcohol and God knows what else, not so quietly crying. This isn't really about the hat, is it? Wipe away the tears. Anyway, I can't believe you would use insanities like that in front of a police officer, and you should wear a hat too. I swear to God, I will always wear a hat from now on. Would it be alright if I asked you some questions now? You know, you're not the only one with issues. There's a motherly hint to her voice. I self-medicate. Shit, life's a horror, you know? Crying helps though. Get it out of your system and then maybe we can talk, okay? I'll be here. Having looked away during the final phase of your little episode, the lieutenant now addresses you. Do you want to talk about what just happened? What's there to talk about? Normally I'm opposed to discussing one's feelings, especially on duty, but I think this is an exceptional case. So, what do you think happened? Thy pen of lies runneth dry. Best to simply deny the truth bald-faced. What? Nothing happened. The lieutenant blinks. So you're just saying you didn't break into tears just now? And nearly tear your shirt off? I've never cried once in my life. Uh-huh. You could torture me, abandon me, even divorce me, and I'd be as dry as a desert. Yes, sir. Wipe your eyes. Yes, I've definitely seen you cry before, never seen you cry before, nor lent you my handkerchief to dry your tears. Methinks my liege doth protest too much. A performance that would make the star of a radio melodrama blush. Even so, in the future, could you please refrain from emoting too much on duty? The quasi-legal status of the RCM means we need to project strength twice as consistently as any other police force in the world. Okay, I'll control my emotions. Good. Controlling your emotions sounds good. Glad to hear it was minor. Can you go on? Absolutely. Superstars always get back up and try again. Then let's go.
So, like,
The girl.
seriously, what's eating you, man?
There's a penny in her eyes. Her hair is dyed blonde with dark roots showing, and she wears thick black eyeliner. Most men wouldn't call her pretty. There is a manliness to her. Hoarseness. I'm gonna adjust my hair. There we go. Yeah, can we talk for a minute? I was wondering when you would come around. What's up? I guess there's something that's been making my life hell. What is it? She listens intently. Tackling the doers. I think it's the plight of the working class. Oh, really? The golem of capital runs rampant, smashing creator and slave alike. I fear the process is reversible. So the thing that's got you crying in front of strangers is social justice? I haven't been seen much of this world, but from what I've seen, social justice is an adolescent term. Sounds almost liberal. What's got me shaken up is the people's struggle, and it's got me shaken up bad. Yeah, man, they're pretty bad, she says without much conviction. It makes me sick thinking about the thousands, millions, billions. How many people are there actually? How many people are there in the world? 3.6 billion, not counting those in still. Really? That many? Reduces me to tears thinking of the 3.6 billion. God knows how many more there are in that soul place, crushed under the tyranny of the market. Yeah, that's pretty bad, she nods. Are you sure you're not just hung up on some chick, though? Perhaps? Now that you mention it, I found these letters I'd thrown in the trash. They might have something to do with it. Okay, why do you think that? They were written in a woman's hand, and oh boy, did reading them make me not feel good. There you have it then, chick trouble. Not political after all. Who was she? I don't remember her. Really? She appears to believe you. You seem pretty upset about this chica. Are you sure you don't remember anything about her? I remember her scent, and that's all. Wow, man. That's some pretty strange shit. She rubs her sides for warmth. Are you sure the letters were for you? Yeah, I'm sure. Why else would I have reacted so strongly otherwise? How come you don't remember, though? Is it like some selective memory thing? Wait, what do you mean by selective memory? Man, when I first get hurt, I just want to forget that shit, you know? That kind of selective memory. I think it's more about me getting so unbelievably drunk I completely erased all memory of this world. Yeah, or it might be that. This one time I did so much booze that I forgot to. It's obvious she's done more than booze. Or it just might be psych bullshit, you know? Konigstein wank. Wait, what is this Konigstein wank? You know, the psych thing they've got going on there. Rich people like it. People in Konigstein are mostly rich. Thanks for the bullshit psych thing, then. You're welcome. He thanks for a second, stretching her jaw. Might be for the best to keep that shit forgotten, though. Just my opinion. If it itches, don't scratch. Yes, but it itches really, really bad. Have you seen a red-haired woman around? No. Just no? It's pretty desolate here. I only hear the dogs bark at night. And I could see shadows move down the coast. What's your name? A cell. A cell who? I'm not a young suitor. This is official police business. Okay, well, she hesitates. It's Burger. You have little reason to doubt that's her real name, but he's not all that surprised by this cop show questioning, is she? What's that device you have there? This? She breathes on her freezing fingers. It's a portable recording device for field recording, low quality but still. And the wires? Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone. What's a contact microphone? Contact mic records sounds coming from inside things, like this ice. Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike. Yeah, any news on my wife's name? How about my mother? Nope. You're welcome. Does this have anything to do with Contact Mike? She's confused. Yeah, I record stuff with it. No, I mean the boxer, Contact Mike. No, this is a contact microphone. It's for recording inside solid objects. Contact mic just beats people up. That's not fair, and an understatement. You know, contact mic doesn't just beat people up. Contact mic is a role model. An entire litany spews forth. On second thought, screw Contact Mike. He's not a champion. You are. Look at you here in front of a soggy tent, picking your nose to drug addict music. The world of sports is in awe of your faith and dedication. Man, you are one weird cop. I'd say I'm just about normal. Now about that mic, not Mike. You understand, it all just sounds like Mike to me, right? How does that thing work? The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The box said it only picks up structure-borne sound. If you like technobabble. Where did you get the mic from? Same place I got the recorder from. The Elysium. What's the Elysium? Oh man, you haven't been to the Elysium? She forgets, or Palaceum, it's gotta be. She forgets herself for a moment. It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street, Jamrock. Musicians live there like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck. Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here. Sounds interesting. Who is this Arno guy? Oh yeah, she looks you over, assessing your age. Guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck, or really be a Palaceum going kind of person. I get down. I don't know what that means. I grind. I don't know what that means either. This conversation is awesome. Nor do I, but I have concrete evidence that I rock, in the form of a wrecked tape player and a completely trashed hostel room. That's cool. She breathes on her fingers. Looks like she doesn't know what to say. Never mind, let's talk about that contact mic instead. Sure. Actually, I had some non-mic questions for you. Okay. What are you doing out here in the cold? Recording, I guess. What is it you're recording exactly? I think I'm recording cracks in the ice, but there's no way to tell, not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps, too. Not sure how that will sound. Scratches her forehead. Wait, what happened to the headphones? My boyfriend sold them. What for? I don't know, man. Things. Just stuff you need for life. Everything checks out, sire. What the fuck? And what are these foot recordings for? The cracks, the footsteps. The musicians in the Palaceum use them for making music. They loop the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks in the ice and keys jangling. Crazy sounds like that. It's hard to explain. Odd. Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be like a music place anyway. He rubs her shoulders and looks around. I don't know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers too. I don't have a synthesizer. She looks at the recording device. The thing she thought would fill her hours with joy and escape. It's turning out to be an empty fantasy. She feels childish, very useless all of a sudden. Take this, you're cold. The lieutenant begins to take off his jacket. No, man, fuck that. I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry about the fuck. It's okay, the lieutenant backs up. He throws you a glance. Can I actually give her my hat? Here, you need this more than I do. Thanks, she puts it on. It's a bit large for her. You said it's supposed to be a music place. What is? That, she nods towards the church. The boys think it could be a place, like the Elysium or something stupid. It's really... pauses. Not gonna be Elysium, that's for sure. The boys? Yeah, Andre and the guys. They're inside in the tent. Why is that? Why are you freezing out here where the boys are inside? They got too much stuff crammed in there, no room. Stuff like what? Music stuff mostly. Like this tape recorder, but bigger, and there's piles of it. Why not just leave some of it outside so you don't have to freeze? That stuff is more expensive than I am, more expensive than any of us, really. It doesn't matter, I can take the cold. I had some other questions. Tell me about this music place you've been planning in the church. It's supposed to become like a club for anodic dance music, like the new style of synthesizer stuff they play at the Elysium. Except that, yeah, he looks at the old wooden church up on the poles. As a mean wind comes bellowing in, the 6-story structure lets out a doleful shriek. What is anodic dance music? Oh yeah, that was a secret task. You know, anodic, cathodic. Music that's made with electronic instruments. Electronic instruments like what? Synthesizers and tape consoles, microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity but isn't guitars. Also found sound, stuff like that. You see clear, beautiful, violet flashes of light. Light cutting through a smoke-filled darkness. That is what the future will look like, if it ever comes. Probably shouldn't have given her my hat. I'm kind of regretting that. This is an evolutionary step from amplified instruments, which in turn are a step up from acoustic instrument. What comes after it, you wonder? A black-tinted nothingness or something finer? So you want to turn the church into a club? I know, she nods towards the sloping mass of wood on the coast, then shivers. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be deserted, but now they can't even take it. Hey, her black eyes widen. You two are cops. Yes, why do you ask? Okay, well, she hesitates. Maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys? Because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should look into it, right? I'll talk to them. They're inside that thing there. She points to the tent. It would be cool if you did. Was there something else? Enough about the church then. I had another question. You seem surprisingly comfortable with being questioned. Why is that? Well, it's just questioning, right? You're questioning me. It's what cops do. Have you been questioned before? Once or twice, yeah. I'm sorry I haven't had the Revachol experience they get east of the river. What's east of the river? Rich people. Rich people are the east of the river. Lean in and whisper, let me guess, these rich people are not from a... Oh. I bet they're really rich. They must be very special to be so rich. Oh, they are, and I'm scum. You're not scum. Oh, but I am. So what trouble have you've gotten... So what trouble you've gotten into with the police? The usual. I had a shitty run as a teenager. What's the usual? You know, drinking, getting into fights, the ugly stuff that happens when you move out of your parents' place at 13. Alberg. Interesting term. Time to glean some knowledge. Wait, what is Infalberg? Is this a rhetorical question? No, I literally can't remember the name. Basic term sometimes. The lieutenant steps in. Falborg, not in Falborg is a massive banlieue south of Jamrock Quarter. It is the largest ghetto in Revachol, possibly the world. And why did you have to move out when you were so young? My dad was a drunk, plus I guess I just wanted to drink too, you know? Get my party on. I get that. I'm a major party animal myself. Major. Alright, she smiles a little without meaning to. Actually, that's it for now. Okay, bye. She turns her attention back to the recording device. Searchlight Division. You've sharpened your sense by being on the lookout for missing persons. Now you notice more of what's happening around you. Perhaps when you're done with this case, you can join the Searchlight Division of the RCM and find every Revacholian that's ever gone missing without a trace. There is undoubtedly a backlog of such cases. Because you never know, a missing person could be just around the edge, barely out of sight. Clear-eyed pursuit of truth.
Hello again.
Tape recorder lies on the ice like a discarded toy. Pick it up. The device is still warm from her touch and heavy as a brick from the batteries inside. The company logo, Omicron, adorns the yellow plastic cover. Inside, the tape is rolling. The girl looks at the device in her. I'm sorry you have to sit here on the ice feeling miserable. At your age, or at any age in this weather, waiting for it to get dark. She looks you in the eye, her pupils wide, surrounded by a ridiculous amount of makeup. The people who built this world intended it to be better for you, but they failed. It is easier to live in their failure. In their failure with this by your side. Tap on the tape recorder. The wind howls. She remains silent. It's real. Tell her. It's not a childish fantasy. It can be a real weapon against what's coming for now. What is... Her shoulders shake a little. I'm once again reminded of how Contact Mike rose from the slums of St. I'm once again reminded of how Contact Mike rose from the slums of St. Baptiste to the top of the boxing world, overcoming adversity and serious brain trauma. Nothing is coming. Nothing you wouldn't knock out in 3 rounds. The real fight is for the right attitude. I can't believe this turned into another Mike thing. Fine, okay, I'll stick to it. She takes the device from you and places it in her lap. I'll knock it out in 3 rounds. After a moment of silence, she speaks again. So thanks, I guess, for the psych session. Maybe I can return it. What's been eating you, officer? That's ridiculous. Kick drum pulse. The music is coming from somewhere on the ice. More tribalistic markings. This post covered in little humanoids. A pole screwed into the ice keeps the tent erect. Crash from some unending party. This is someone's home away from home, just like yours. Pane of Eternite has been planted up into the snow. 2 poles are holding it up. Barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. A stronger gust of wind might be enough. What is this? Looks like a makeshift bridge. He adjusts the collar, which could be convenient. Push the Eternite over. Okay. The tent is a tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open inside. 3 men are listening to some new form of music. It's like nothing you've ever heard. One of them looks...
Come on! Get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out.
It's safe to assume this is their leader, or at least he thinks he is.
Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm too old for this.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquent.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
Gestures for you to squeeze. God. Canisters filled with what appears to be water. The label says distilled. A speaker, the big kind they use for live music. Pile of nasal sprays, brand name Nosafed Ultra. You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair, aggressively so. You get the sense that this is what the future will look like. Imbecilic. Yes, you should... Yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic, like this guy. Take his hand. His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse. Noid.
The young man with the earrings looks at you suspiciously.
An egghead. Egg!
The tape player high above his head continues to blast what is probably anodic music.
Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
Wait, how many music venues have you organized?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
Why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
Was there something you wanted? Your friend Estelle said there was a problem with the church.
Oh, so you've met her? Good, good.
He nods.
Yeah, it's a matter of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of Marcomania on the coast.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face. Don't fall for it. Enough histrionics. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dope heads.
Burnouts.
He angrily spits on a screw, then starts cleaning it.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. No, strike that, in Revershoal.
Strike that, the word.
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts holed up in there are the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dope heads and burnouts really are. Good, this calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those. I feel like you may be laying this on a bit thick. What's really so bad about these dope heads and burnouts? They're spooky. What do you mean by spooky? I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community center and a place of spiritual refuge. Also, they don't heat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse. People just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that. Thank you, Egghead. He turns to you. So if you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for. I'll look into it. Tell me more. Alright, man. He claps his hands enthusiastically. Andre is obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchange giddy looks. What's the status of the church? I haven't gotten inside the building yet. I asked Noid to install a measure against drifters wandering in, a padlock. It's a temporary fix, just something to contain the situation. I had to do it in a hurry, not my best work, but it should hold for a while. What about the key? Of course, Noid, give the officer the key. Alright. The speed freak dips in his belt and pack and produces a yellow key. He then makes a sudden cool infused move, tossing it in your general direction. Be a cool cop, catch the key as it flies towards you. Yeah, you sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a small ringing sound as it approaches, just the tiniest chime to your left. Catch it. Ka-ching! The key hits your palm. Speed freaks nod to you approvingly. Bask in the glory. The young man with the ribcage-shaped suspenders looks at you standing there with a goofy grin on your face. Hell yeah. The word August used as an adjective. That's how cool it feels to be old and cool in the eyes of the young. Let's face it, you're near death, yet bathed in a golden rays of stately grandeur, like a late summer's day, like a daddy-o, like a tequila sunset. No, none of this tequila sunset business. It's gotten me to death's door. That's how it... There has to be more in this world. Are you sure? It's probably too late to be tequila sunrise now. How long have those people been locked in there? Not long. Like a week, maybe? He shrugs. How can you be... How can you be sure they haven't starved to death? I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive. 85% is good enough when they're dealing with another person's physical well-being. Not good enough. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, too. I guess that wasn't very hardcore of us to just lock them in there like that. Me too. I shouldn't have that kind of power over another person. I'm not the one with the violence monopoly here. You are. I'm glad that he is out of my hands now. Right, other questions. Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it. Who exactly are these people inside the church? Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses. You haven't seen them and you want the police involved? Well, he means in for emphasis. There's also the machinery. This machinery is of the deeply mystical variety. When I first scouted the place back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set stuff up. Suddenly there was all these strange machines lying around in there. One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen anything like it. Andre, tell him about the feeling. Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the dark. No, the other one. Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as Wareg. Felt like silence, awful silence. For this man, even regular silence is awful enough, but that was something greater. You haven't physically seen anyone? Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church a couple of times, and we felt someone or something eyeing us inside. But that's kind of it. The woman, red hair maybe? A Lori woman? Sure, why not? Yeah. But not really, the other one adds. Brown hair, old, heavy, dark signs. So which one is it? What Noid said. So brown and older? Ruby might have dyed her hair, though that seems like a stretch at this point. You have to see it for yourself. These people are not reliable. What was that about something watching you? Like, you aren't alone, you know? It wasn't quite human, if you know what I mean. Not human, as in a ghost. Do you know what he means? It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man. Crab man? Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling like a crab. The other one agrees. It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behavior. Are you sure there was a crab man? Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a crab in there, there's a crab in there. You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab. The implications of this are too numerous to consider. Proceed with caution. Learn all you can before entering that dark building. There probably is no crab man. Don't let them draw you into this nonsense. Can you tell me more about this machinery? You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dope head sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too, probably very likely. With a small surge of PEA, alertness fills you, as if to say, this is a dark corner, look behind it. Jacked up to some snuff station? He means like one of those rich boy private radio stations where you can listen to people getting killed on, then jerk off to it. Sick shit. Not that we would know anything about that. Noid just likes relay stuff. We're getting derailed here. In short, you can talk to Noid about the machines. He'll tell you more. So how can you be sure they're burnouts and dopeheads if you haven't even seen them? Well, honestly, I can't, but I am. This is below feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically is attempting to weaponize idiocy. Wow, you can't, but you do. I should add weaponized idiocy to my own repertoire. Hey now, he froze his brow. I'm 70% sure they're substance abusers. Don't let all that technology fool you. He makes little quotation marks with his fingers when he says technology. Where do you think drugs come from? Alright, let's talk about something else. Sure, what? You mentioned some kind of ecclesiastes own the church? Who are these ecclesiastes? Oh yeah, that's a Meteoran name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it. If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery. Now humor me, Andre, what is the founding party? Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a powerful religious organization. And they have roots in ancient mass society, he pauses, and they're the custodians of the Parnassian church, plus they anoint the innocents. They made the innocentic system, no? Now Andre, in your opinion, would this ancient religious organization who anoints the innocents want a club for hypnotic music in one of their churches? Totally. There isn't a trace of doubt in his voice. The Paracarnassian church is about love. Hypnotic music is about love. I got love for my Paracarnassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We dance. He violently shakes the tape player as if to see if he can break it. Love is hardcore. Unity. Unity! Make some noise for my Insulindian posse. He turns the volume up, then looks at you with a knowing nod as if it's obvious you will now break into dance. You feel it, the anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base as if testing the waters. I now understand it was lame of me to suggest otherwise. Hypnotic music is about love, and so is the Paracarnassian church. Yeah, Yokota, the place to be. Okay, he seems ecstatic that you share his vision of Paracarnassianism. Nice words. Do it for the masses, do it for the crew. His friend forms a fist with a screwdriver still in his hand, approvingly so. I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway, you got more questions? The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving. Yeah, let it out. Let the disco happen. Bring the disco into this world. Get this church shit on, and then dance there, motherfucker. I wanted to ask you about this tent full of equipment. Guess what? You brought your own water. Yeah. Good to have. Bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water. And it's distilled, too. Oh? He doesn't know what to say. It's the one they sell at the fuel station. What's with all the Nosafed? The what now? He leans in to hear you better. One of the bottles of nasal spray in the corner. The Nosafed Ultra, you have a lot of it lying around. Oh. The old Ultra. I have a major sinus infection. Stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's all blasted up. Winter. Can't even breathe. Sounded fine to me. Yes. He nods energetically. That's all Nosafed's doing. Without the nose, I'd be drowning in shit right now. Nosafed is the shit. Can I have some? I have nose problems too.
Wait.
Sure. He picks up one from the corner and hands it to you. Here you go, officer. The nose up. Blast away. All right, enough of this. He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little rude. That's all for now. Be careful out there, officer, and tell us how it goes. Yeah, we'll be here. A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds a Harman Wellesley tape player, nodding along to the music. He looks at you with a knowing smile and says, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous evangelical secret.
Hardcore! Hardcore! Hardcore is a mega! Internally coherent! All core! Alright! Yeah!
He furrows his brow as the very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music and the very real air of the stuff he said.
Hardcore! Ah!
He lets out an agonized roar over the feeble-ish, obviously not too hardcore beat below. So hardcore.
Is it though?
This game. He stops dead in his tracks, tilting his head to the side. It is.
What is it? I mean, really?
He tilts his head to the other side like an owl. Feels like you should reply with the very pinnacle of idiocy here, so that things get totally transcendent. But you haven't gotten there yet, so you don't know what to say. I was thinking that too.
I am the mic enforcer. I am the chicks checker. Yeah!
New task, solve the egghead puzzle. Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you imagine? You think? What the fuck?
This is hardcore.
Is it?
It's hardcore!
I don't know what to say to that.
Skibber-dee, skibber-danger. I am the rearranger.
Your cop training did not prepare you for this. What to do?
Back to the heavyweight jam. Hardcore! Hardcore.
But is it? I mean, really?
Yeah!
You can yeah and say random things all day long, but the track doesn't sound all that hard to me.
Spinning out lyrics since the day I was born. And the amount of lyrics I got is against the law.
This is so dumb.
The cloud. True, hard, full, core. Hardcore. Yeah!
Yeah.
Lakierski, materialski. The true, hard, full, hardcore. Hardcore is a mega.
All right.
Here comes the night. The true, hardcore. Hardcore is a mega. Internally coherent.
I was wondering if you knew who killed the mercenary hanging behind the Whirling and Rags hostel?
Good morning, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yekokata, the place to be.
You said that before. Why is this Yokota the place to be? What does that mean?
Yekokata, the hardcore place.
This is so ridiculous.
True,
I love
hardcore,
this.
hardcore, internally coherent. Good morning, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yekokata, the place to be.
I'm beginning to think this really doesn't have anything to do with the case.
It's the message, so listen and you will see. No illusion, the spirit is what you feel.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
True, hardcore, internally coherent. All core, alright, yeah.
Please tell me, what exactly are you doing?
Gotta get the people going.
Why?
I'm the party boy, it's my job.
I think I'm also a party boy.
2 on a track, watch your back, watch out for the heart attack.
Oh my god.
We're close. True, hardcore is a internally coherent. All core, alright, gotta get the people going.
I see.
Yeah, request. True, hard, internally coherent. All core, alright, yeah, gotta get the people going. I'm the party boy, it's my job.
What is a party boy?
Hardcore party 25/7 beyond the winter's orbit style. True. Hard, internally all core. All right. Yeah.
He furrows his brow as a very large head traces a sublime invisible movement of the music and very...
Hardcore. Ah.
No, but seriously, I'm a little worried it isn't.
The question is, what is the question?
That would have been good if I had asked you a question, but I didn't. Now it's just idiotic.
But there was a question?
Oh my god.
True. All core. All right. Yeah. Hardcore. Ah. The question is, what is the question?
Just answer the question.
But there was no question. True. All core. Hardcore.
So hardcore.
Is it though?
I was just thinking that a moment ago.
One mind, one spirit. There's no other world. There's no other life.
Amazing.
True. In all core. Is it though?
It is.
What is it? I mean, really.
The question is, what is the question?
No, but seriously, I'm a bit worried it isn't.
He frowns, then starts bobbing his head back and forth once more. Don't be alarmed, everything is okay. He isn't actually worried. Everything is still super hardcore. What he probably means is, it could be even more so. You said you were worried. What do you think is wrong with the music? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm still in love with the hardcore. He turns pensive all of a sudden. Sometimes you just feel like anodic music is just in its infancy, you know? For example, take this Arno Van Eyck jam I've been pumping for the last month, and will continue pumping for the rest of 51. Isn't something holding it back from being hyper? He thinks for a moment, then his expression clears. It's like, it's only ultra. I think it's super hardcore, but you're right. It's not hyper hardcore. If anything, it sounds a bit proto, like it's not fully formed yet. You might be a moribund alcoholic and a failed cop, but you're pretty certain this thing cannot be both proto and hardcore. It's proto, not hardcore at all. Whoa, culture cop. I think you might be right, but how could it become hardcore then? I know it is in my heart, but cannot think it in my head. If this is not hardcore, how could anything be? Sounds suspiciously like a question. I thought the question was, what is the question? No, this is the answer. Try to think of if anything could make it harder core. What? The guys look at you with a customary amazement. Guys, there's something happening in his head. Think even harder. Oh yeah, he's doing it. But you're not. This is almost certainly a matter that surpasses the limits of reason. My imagination fails me. I know, so does mine. He laughs and shakes his head. But there's something else that hasn't failed you. Wait, I just remembered something. I'm the police. Uh-huh. The young man is bursting with anticipation. Nothing. Me being the police isn't going to help us. Oh. Actually, it's more likely to hinder us. Oh. I can't help you with this right now. I need something else, something extra. Yeah. He's not even the slightest bit disappointed. Are you a thought reader? No nation but trans nation, no war but class war. So you're not a thought reader, you're a communist. He's not a communist. That's just something he likes to yell. He picked it up from a tape jockey at the Elysium. He was a communist, though. Yeah, with a rebel yell. Does that mean you're a thought reader? Don't be a lunatic. Of course he isn't. Jermaine here just yells random things. Odds are, sooner or later, one of them will come off as thought reading. Yeah, Revachol imperative. Unless you're thinking Revachol imperative right now. Anyway, I've had a similar thing happen with eggs yelling. I know what you mean. But I was thinking Revachol imperative. That's fucked up, man, lying like that. And a cop, too. But why aren't you a communist? Communism is the truth. I can be a communist. He nods. If you want that, do you want me to be a communist? Please don't turn him into a communist. Oh yeah, turn him into a communist. Come on. It would be super. Don't be a communist. Wait, what am I saying? Of course be a communist. He yells, and you guess he is a communist now. Tell me something, egghead. Communism rules the nation. He looks at you with an almost impossibly wide, shining grin, looking as to see if you approve. Right on, comrade luminary. Here comes the sun. You could swear you feel the bright future of the working class reflected off of German egghead's giant smile and right onto your face. Revolution makes your toes curl in anticipation. Is your real name Germain? Hardcore Germain Egghead. Basically, yes it is. Why are there lungs on your belt buckle? Lungs are for love. Why would lungs be for love? When Dolores Day was anointed innocence, her lungs started glowing through her body, for the world loved her and she loved it back. Yeah. Why wouldn't they be? Are lungs not for the place that you hold the breath of your soul? Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Love, he suddenly yells, and the word seems to stop. In a woman's lungs, lonely as I am, I'm not afraid. This strange, damaged feeling grows on and on, because I've never loved someone like you before. The fuck? A dopamine surge accompanies the words. It feels like electricity flowing down your scalp, dissipating onto your neck. Feels good, like a spark of life that moribund sponge calls your body. Jesus Christ. Alright, goodbye, egghead. Alright, here comes the night. Why does art inspire you so much? It does, yes, but what is art? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication. Representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined. Would I fit into the art world? I mean, have you looked in the mirror lately? To be honest, you have the exact features of the modern artist. With that wild hair and those clothes, perhaps you should try to write poetry someday and critique architecture. I guess I have been feeling critical lately. Yes, you seek substance, no vapid representations and reproductions of social mores, as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real living art here. Become the art cop, half art critic, half cop. Okay, a 50% art critic is what wait, don't I have to be 100% cop to get the case finished and all that? Quit being so indecisive. What are you going to be here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Strike a bold shape here. Go art or go home. Okay, a 50% art critic is what is needed to free me from rote repetition, so be it. Actual art degree. Exactly, it's not only your duty to catch the criminals of the street, you must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery. The trite and derivative artists and writers of the world. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid? Good.
Kind shows through the holes in the Speed Freak's too large sweater. In front of him, an open toolbox full of carpentry tools and parts.
It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading.
He runs his hand through his hair, which is combed back in mock seriousness, and continues to fiddle with some ears. Sign? Yeah, gotta compare, see if we can align. Interesting. I suck at socializing, man. Even now our sign synchronization is way off, but I'll see what I can do. He continues to rearrange his tools. Tell me what about the machines you saw in the church. He cringes. Weird stuff, specialized. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign or some fucked up Sumerian science sign. You know, the kind that goes headfirst into the supernatural. What's wrong with the supernatural? Nothing's wrong with it. It should definitely be researched. You can still do sick shit with it, though. The sickest, that's perhaps why it should be researched. The supernatural, but you think it's real, that it actually exists? Most of it doesn't exist, but there's also some stuff that isn't allowed to exist because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the plebs. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human, folk rights, that kind of stuff. Why are you called Noid? He picks up some sort of widget. The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at this moment. It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without some adjustment. Does this mean we need sign matching? Sync the signs with Noid. Yes, further sign matching would be good for us. One way to achieve this would be by getting us into the church. Okay, maybe I'll come back later.
Good morning, comrade. Yeah! Good morning, comrade. Yeah!
Maybe your body can tell you what Arno Van Jam's Ike's jam is missing to make it harder core. You know it in your lungs where the pressure should vibrate, in your heart what's alone, and in your solar plexus where the hits should land. So does every chordate animal. Needs more bass. What? I got an achievement for this. The young man makes a sudden move, like he's about to turn the volume down, but that would be ridiculous. And a melody, a good melody, is what makes the song really stick, so that you can't get it out of your head anymore. Point at your head. Wow, okay, we should start with the melody, but where would we get that stuff from? Nowhere. I'm not going to become some sort of hypnotic cop too. I've got enough capo types already. Oh no, please become one. You'll miss out on so much good content otherwise. It's like being the greatest cop on earth. Please, please. The young man smiles at you widely, brightly, and innocent as the summer sun. You don't have time for this nonsense. You've got safe, boring things to do. Okay, I'll look into it in an official capacity. It's up to the police to make the beats go harder. Make the Ike's jam go harder core. The young man falls silent with appreciation. He even tries to contain his smile, as it could hinder your investigation. Basically, what you need to find here is a tape with some banging music on it so that Egghead could use it to remix Van Ike's jam. Yeah, maybe that street hawker across the pawn shop has some tapes to sell. That's just an idea. Anyway, it's all yours to figure out, Copman. Copman, yells Egghead. Hey, I have a tape with me. Maybe you can use it to improve Van Ike's jam. Tape, yeah, he grins. Spin the tape until the bass escape, yeah. Okay, never mind. Communism forever! Oh my god. Alright, we'll come back for that.
Hi again. So, how
What?
things going?
Okay.
Hi again. So, how things going? Hi again. So, how things going?
Number of things don't add up. Let's take a look. How about gather around, kids? Okay, kids, now gather around. The young speed freak puts down a busted capacitor and looks at you. The one with the large head seems very enthusiastic about whatever you have planned. Their would-be leader is less amused. Sometime in the past, I'm not sure when or where, but betrayal was involved. I fell sick and became the shadow you see now, but before that I have reason to believe I was a police detective. But you still are. Thank you for your kind words, but everyone in here sees I'm a disgrace to the uniform. What happened? Looks serious suddenly. I did. I happened to myself. That's a real downer, he shakes his large head. Now, obviously, that might as well have been 1,000 years ago, but there's still some detective left in me. The young speed freak is silent. He senses something is wrong. This isn't the makings of a club, it's a tent full of laboratory equipment for manufacturing drugs. I have no idea how you've arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers. He points to the speaker. One speaker. They have one speaker. The distilled water, a cornerstone of a clean lab. And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer? That Nosafed is here for its active ingredient. He said it was for his nose. What more do you want? Likely, Judefedrine, that makes you stupid. You have no headphones. Wouldn't Excel need her headphones to spin tape? What? You don't know about spinning tape? What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing. Where's his friend? Did he lose his friend? What do you mean, friend? The other speaker. You have only one. It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about the sound reproduction in anodic music. Other speaker. Pfft. This may be brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or one-speaker system. There is no need for me to pile on anymore, is there? No shit. He sounds tired. In short, you tried to use the police detective to set up a drug lab. That's... He waves his hands. Come on, that's... preposterous? I mean to say not true. But what are we going to do with you? What do you mean do? There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing. The optimal way to go about this would be indifference. It begins with you telling him you don't care about any of this. I don't really care, I just wanted to crack the case. Do what you want and I'll do what I want. Really? He sounds relieved. Really, I wanted to ask you about something else. You just wanted to ask me, he's a bit perplexed now, about something else? Shrug, or you can tell me what the plan for the church really was. He thinks for a moment, then opens his mouth, then closes it again. He finally raises his hands. Things are just way too hard for an entrepreneur in this city. It's not like we're not going to turn the church into the wickedest club in East Revachol. Because we are. We totally are. We're just going to turn it into a speed lab first. You know, to get our foot in the door. Then why did you need me? Like I told you, spooky assholes moved in there while we were getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up. They're not really spooky, are they? No, man, they're spooky, all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there. But the sign was way off, too. I couldn't feel the love at all. So what now? This is it, judgment time. I have to look into the speaker situation before I can decide what to do with you. We can continue on an amiable path, right? No more misunderstandings, no more lies. He nods, smiling cautiously. Before you go, is there anything else you need? That's it for now. As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
I'm gonna load the save game. We'll maybe come back and do this later, I guess. I want to check the church out. I kind of want to actually
Huh,
do
I
the
see you're here again.
do the speed lab thing. Oh my god.
I see you.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Good morning.
That was so much. Oh my god. I had that 1/10 hour of gameplay. Jesus Christ.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean. Shoot.
The others told me you went inside the church. What did you see in there? Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in telling you. He's less prone to blurting out Crabman than the others. We'll see. Go ahead and tell me. Okay, I went in there and saw a woman next to one of those machines there. Noid calls it a mainframe. She was dressed like someone who's being raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just stood still. Go on. And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall, upside down like a crab, down the church wall. I think it was a woman. I think the woman didn't even know he was there. He was completely silent. He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me, right at me. I fucking turned around and walked out. End of story. Like a crab, you say? The lieutenant nods. His face is stone. What did this crab look like? It was too dark, she shakes her head. I couldn't tell exactly. Come on, she obviously could. He already went into detail. Come on, quit stalling on me. What did he look like? He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff, had a mesh tank top. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that only made it scarier in a way. A crab and a banger? The lieutenant raises an eyebrow. Yes, a banger. As in a mesque gangbanger. You know what it... I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw. You were wrong, I do believe you. He raises a brow. Why? What would you stand to gain? Nothing, she says. Anyway, what else? I'd like to know more about your associates. My associates? She blows on her chilled fingers. I haven't got much to say about them. Just answer the question, please. Sorry, I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information to the cops. What about you? Tell me something about yourself. Me? I'm a silver bird. Aha, okay. Maybe I'll ask about all this later. Talk about her associates. Don't know what makes you think I'll be any different later, but... Feel the shadow of a very large building will follow you. Dusty pews in the shadows, many singing and missing. Cool. Open it up. An altar shrouded in dark or something like that. It's not dark. It's too dark to tell. Sign reads St. Brune 1147. These rusty gears used to turn the whole machine. The building before you has the engine. It must have been a big one. Jane trails off in the ocean to who knows where. The sparrow has been recently discarded. No smells of fuel oil. Cigarette butts cleaned away under a rock. Brand. Take a mental note, Team Mortuaries. Someone's made a campfire here a long time. A rusted broken control box for the radio relay tower. This ladder is too rusty to climb. The air has eaten away at it. Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place for a nest, taking the shot? Just urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower. I don't see it, Lieutenant. I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freighter. I don't see a person take the shot here and hit something there. He looks east over the coast in the whirling in rags. Maybe the campfire was used by the perpetrator to warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps, but anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fires this time of year. He looks around. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out B double prime, was it? Maybe the assailant climbed the comms tower, took the shot there. It's not possible to climb that ladder, and even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from. The lieutenant looks up, raising his collar. What about the cigarette butts? Those, he points to them, a smoking assailant who favors geometry to Astra or drone. Cigarette butts are everywhere. This is a common brand for old men. Still, you felt that it was important enough to make a mental note. That means something. You didn't pay attention to any other cigarette butts on the coast. Look over the water to the whirling in rags. There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from the distance and the air, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible. It's glowing in the dark night. The lights are on. Classier must be in there. Looks like she's kept her promise not to go out at night anymore. Such a good girl, you think. Finished thought. This relay tower coordinates boat traffic in the bay, barely. Hinted scarf. Tiny inlets here, far off in the distance, where the posts trail toward. Okay. Head back. Boardwalk rises to your south. It casts its long shadow over you. Over here. Okay, the boardwalk is like one of the last places we're gonna explore. Like, basically explored all this, right? There's a slit in the concrete here, a sewer. The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth. Yell ho into the slit. There's an echo and no answer. What's in there? Maybe just a storm drain for the sewer? Kim, any idea what's down there? No idea. He takes his glasses off to polish. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. Think we might find Ruby down there? We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachal's sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. He puts his glasses back on. In conclusion, she could be under any building, but not in there. He looks into the slit and sighs. I hope not. Tiny cages, carefully constructed. The soggy logs smell of ignition fluid. Still, they won't light up. It's almost impossible to get a fire going in this near to the ocean. These heavy military blockades are ruined by bullet holes crumbling. Would this be the buoy Classier I told you about? Ooh. Small buoy. The metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first it looks just like trash, but you look closer. That over there, he points to the strange-looking object, must be the buoy Classier told us about, the one she hid her passport in. We should take a look. Ooh, hidden things, secrets, lies. Pick up the buoy. You lift the buoy out of the water without much effort. It's not tied to anything. Cords dangling from the bottom appear to have been cut. Examine the plastic ball. Number 11 has been written on the small yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. The latch holds it closed, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch is cracked. Simple construction, very unsafe. Lift the buoy. It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. Salt, industrial slop, and decay. Shake the buoy. There's something inside in there, splashing around. Open the buoy. A shot's glass worth of seawater pours out, some algae, and nothing else. Well, damn. We're lucky it's still here a little longer and it would have floated away. The lieutenant flashes a mirthless half-smile. We got here a little too late. There's nothing of use here anymore. No documents. Who do you think took them? I have no idea. The lieutenant taps his foot, frowning. This is a minor quirk. We know what was in the buoy anyway. He purses his lips, or think we do. There's a small loose end either way. Not important, I hope. I have no idea. Do you have any theories, Lieutenant? Might have been Classier. Might have been the people after her. Might have been a local drunk. She shrugs. We should go. You could ask the miss what she thinks later if you have the time, though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point. Leave the buoy be. Oh, this must be the cryptozoologist. Alright, let's talk to these people.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer.
Is that the police? Why's the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
The crypto-fascist? Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. You must be Morel, the crypto.
Do you want to owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance. Lena sent me. She's been really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damned waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
Yeah, that was me. I broke the waterlock with my motor carriage, but it's fixed now. You can go back.
You broke the waterlock with the motor carriage? But there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle, it said Samaran Butter.
I guess you're right. It really was the sign's fault. Anyway, you can go back
Did he
now.
say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary, we can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him. I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen a woman with red hair who seemed to be on the run? I'm afraid not, officer. I've been busy digging around in the weeds for days, looking for signs of insect activity. I'm less interested in mammalian concerns, to be perfectly honest. The lieutenant takes a short note in his notebook, then gestures for you to proceed. Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the weeds laying traps for it. What makes it so difficult to find? Good question. Being a phasmid, Or blah, blah, blah. Ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. He looks around. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may also have developed other specialized techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists in our present case. What sorts of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself? It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception, eating pattern recognition, using the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they have evolved, without studying a live specimen. Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid. A ghost insect, he said? These people are looking for a ghost. Ghost insect? So you're ghost hunters? No, that is precisely what we're not. We're zoological specialists, looking for an extant species of phasmid. How big is this phasmid? I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid called the Phasmodia zuensis is about the size of a grown man's forearm, so he leaves the conclusions up to you. Seems puny, to be honest. Why are you so interested in this stick bug? Aren't there more sensational animals out there? He flashes you a sideways smile. Typical rookie assumption. Insects are more sophisticated creatures than those unversed in zoology give them credit for. Even simply catching a glimpse of the Elysium phasmid would be the apex of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it and its defenses, find out how it stayed hidden for so long, he shakes his head, would be glory itself. What have you discovered about it so far? Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all of our information is based on first and third-hand accounts. So no one's ever found one? Not yet, he holds up an index finger. That's what makes it a cryptid. The lieutenant interjects. Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real? I know it's real, the cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that even he seems taken aback by it. It's very clear his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than pure pursuit of scientific advancement. By which I mean, he says, gathering himself, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Elysium phasmid is more than just superstition. Lena said there's been a sighting of it here in Martinez. Yes, the most recent sighting was a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species. But with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. Maybe the Elysium phasmid has died out? The cryptozoologist shakes his head vigorously. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis? Yes, the females don't need the males to reproduce. Makes it easier for the species to survive in adverse conditions. Females reproducing without males? A travesty, a crime against passion and common sense. Nature does not concern herself with ethical propositions. As a scientist, my interest is strictly dispassionate. Tell me about these traps. Well, he points to the cage and mesh and wiring on the ground. They may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly. I'm sure they'll do the trick. Lena designed the traps? Yes, he says with some pride. How do the traps work? Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, without having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. What are you using as bait? Locusts. He gestures toward the trap. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course, but we've hypothesized that the Elysium phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects. Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny, chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of an ambush behavior? This seems unlikely. A carnivorous stick insect? Seems unlikely. Thank you for your opinion. We also have included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism. Not a big fan of skepticism. What will you do if the traps don't work? They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis using locusts as bait accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams which used plants. We have given this some thought. The traps do seem to be deftly and thoughtfully constructed. Clear the cryptozoologist's wife knows. Let me ask you about something else. Yes, what? Lena seemed pretty eager for you to return. And I am eager to return to her, I assure you, but I can't leave before we finish the traps. He looks south, where Lena would be. My wife understands that just as well as anyone. Come on, Morel, we've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back. And leave the traps? Absolutely not, he yells in response. I won't let Lena down. Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon. Won't let Lena down. Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection. Phasmid. I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena. Of course it's important to her. She has seen it, a verified sighting on record. One of only 4 this century, and it's hers. Really? She sighted the phasmid? She didn't tell me that. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact, but that's her story to tell, not mine. He coughs, then continues. Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious phasmidoid. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find a proof of the Insulinian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now. Another cough into his fist this time. Maybe you could go back to the whirling, warm up, and come back to check the traps later? No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel? He's dead set on this. I could go for some trap setting. What if we check the trap? How did you become a cryptozoologist? I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. He seems reluctant to talk about it, but he'll open up if you prod a little. So you're living your childhood dream out here. His eyes narrow. It's not a child's play just because I have to. Why not be a zoologist? Real animals are puzzling too. He scoffs at the concept. I know you think this is an respectable profession while the other is a supernatural superstition. Everyone does. Honestly, being a cryptozoologist trumps most of the garbage I've seen people do. Huh. A hum and a nod. My methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence, and I have more hope that something truly surprising might happen. Your nerve endings tell you there is no such thing as a positive surprise. Life surprises are mostly miserable. Agreed, yet there is always a good chance, albeit a small one, of a truly good surprise. One simply needs to look around the history of science. Serendipities abound. And has anything truly surprising ever happened to you? I have yet to catch a cryptid, if that's what you're getting at, but I have come close. What kinds of evidence do you use? Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts like the one that brought us here. To look for the phasmid, I keep a very open mind. He's interested in things that people believe scientists don't. Think other scientists don't listen to ordinary people enough? Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration. They're not real research, and certainly not the truth. They're a cowardly lot, and both the field and the basement archives can be dangerous places. So, you have never discovered a cryptid? No, very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name cryptid. So how many cryptids have been found? Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chimney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection. Only 2 have been proven to be real. Yes, the Chateauquan forest pygmy who turned out to be an extinct species of primate and a cave salamander from Grad, who is honestly quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. Most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching. Not approvingly, then the Insulindian phasmid will be the third. Indeed, he does not smile, just looks you in the eye. It's a forceful gaze. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it, from Revachol to Dushantu. It will be a zoological miracle. He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion. Thanks for explaining that. Now, about something else. Talk about specific cryptids. He eyes you skeptically. Alright, what cryptids precisely? I usually discuss things specialist, so I don't know what we would have to discuss, he wants to say, but decides against it. You need to ask him about a specific cryptids you've heard about from Lena or Gary. He won't just talk. Just tell me about a cool cryptid, any cryptid. No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. So I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research to ask her story. Me, I'm not a people's person unless you haven't known. And I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in field work and persistence. Rush's an errant strength for me. Which cryptid did you almost catch? You said before that you almost caught one. A willow person. It's a long story. One non-specialist. Willow people? Not at all. What are willow people? They're not people, really. Some argue that they're not even animals, as they seem to have evolved directly from trees, as in a self-explanatory, everyday manner. They're very, very thin, almost flat. In fact, and can camouflage themselves easily, wrapping themselves around trees and blending in with the tree bark. In that way, they're not too dissimilar from the phasmid we are looking for. Wait, so I may have seen those willow people without knowing it? You probably have. How did you almost catch a willow person? Gary and I painted an entire grove's worth of trees in slow-drying paint. It was the bright lavender color. I was hoping one of the willow people would get paint on it and not camouflage. After waiting and hiding for hours, I saw a figure slip from one of the trees, a lavender shadow dashing through the grove, and then I chased it with a net. Not very elegant, but you can't be elegant in the field, and well, it was faster than me. A lavender shadow, smirks. I know you think we were snacking on funny mushrooms. It's easier to mock someone than to admit the world might be more interesting than you've imagined. Furthermore, he raises his finger. I'm not saying it was confirmed sighting. I'm painfully aware of what goes into verifying such things. There is a serious possibility that I saw a squirrel or a trick of the light. I am my own harshest critic. He makes a real point here to sound falsifiable. And Lena's sighting of the phasmid, is that confirmed? He replies quickly. It's 100% verifiable and meets all standards of a cryptid sighting. Enough tales then, let's change this. By all means, he coughs and wipes his mouth. I'll get going. Okay.
Hello.
What if we check
can
the
I do
traps
for you,
for you?
officer?
He looks at you with obvious surprise. I didn't expect you would take such interest in our work here, officer. Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar. Yes, indeed. Both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and above all, persistence. Where are these traps? There are 4 in total. One is in the south, one on this little peninsula by the houses here. He points to the south. That's fair. Another is in Land's End in the east, behind the small dune there, on your way to the radio tower after the church. The third is by the canal where you crossed by a concrete slab, a big thicket of reeds going back. Gestures in front of him. You should check at least one of those before returning to this one. Just said it. One's more technicality, but still. That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for this extracurricular venture? But Kim, maybe our suspect is hiding out in the reeds along with the traps. The man surveys the cold coast. I have a feeling only people foolish enough to spend their time skulking about. Oh my god, this is so much. What the fuck? This is so much. Oh my god. I'm gonna load this quick save real quick and talk to this Gary guy. We'll come back to these dudes. We need to talk to Lena at one point. Jesus Christ, man.
Hello, I'm Gary. How do you do, officer? Yellow man. I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man? Interesting. This is something to ask him about after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Not a lover of the great outdoors.
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Sadly, I think I might be a drunk or a degenerate, maybe even
Dark
both.
times will do that to good men.
He nods gravely, then shifts his gaze to a pile of soggy logs at his feet. This game makes pathologic seem not wordy by comparison. My god, there's so much dialogue. Do you know anything about the hangman behind the whirling in rags? Oh, so that's what the RCM is in Martinet is about. Great. He nods in sincere approval. Great to hear somebody's finally taking care of that. But you do know something about it. No. He shakes his head emphatically, then corrects his tie. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary, but everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it, that's all. You didn't kill him or anything. There's something going on here. Are you a cryptozoologist too? No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way, but I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own. You were surprised to see my colleague, Kitsuragi. Not many Sealites here, or anywhere other than in Seal. I meant no offense, truly. Do you remember how we met Measurehead, and I said the next racist will be the really good one? Yes. Well, he gestures towards Gary as though he were presenting a work of art. This is that race. Are you, Gary? Are you a racist? Hey, man. He blushes. All I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact. The lieutenant is a native of Revachol. Oh yes, of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections. He flashes an impenetrable smile. Let's change the subject, okay? Thanks for your cooperation. Save and ask him about his... It might be him.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law. I mean, officers.
Is this your mug? My mug? Why would you think that? You said yellow man. That's not something many people go around saying. Really? I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone. Still seems suspicious. Did I mention the mug was found at the scene of the lynching? Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I am very sorry, officer. He pauses. You're not going to find me, are you? What if I do this? Rip out the fine slip. For 250 real, the maximum. Oh god, 250, how am I going to pay that? He looks at the slip of yellow copy paper and then gets a hold of himself. Okay, I'll work harder. I'll pay it off, I promise. This is a considerable expense to him. 1 month's wage, most of it. It's, in a way, admirable how quickly he composes himself after such a blow. This man digs authority, even when it's bullying him. And I'll never do it again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has just been stressful lately. Damn Puchko's price dumping us out of competition. What did you do, Gary? Nothing. Just answering some questions, helping out the law. Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info. How did you get into the trash container? I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me the master key for the trash containers of Martinez. Why would you need to get into everyone's trash? So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. He says, bowing shamefully like a fallen knight. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Himians run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself. Disgraced? The lieutenant raises his eyebrows and looks up. No need for the histrionics, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container. Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the counter behind the whirling in rags, into that trash container? Officer, please, he raised both hands. Let me explain. It's not like that. Dude. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked, all the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know. Okay, then what happened? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them in the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly. He changes his mind mid-sentence. Okay, I was coming to throw the mug away, and well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too. Right, it was just civic duty, the lieutenant remarks drolly. Exactly, that's exactly what it was, civic duty. Whoa. As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clicking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where? What's that strange sound? What sound? That clinking I just heard when you moved. Really? He fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless. There's lots of weird stuff here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash, could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby. You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you? Armor? No. He changes his mind. I mean, yes, of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it. An infant can see he's not telling the truth. He's too scared to admit any more wrongdoing. Let's move on for now. I hope I could help your investigation in my small way. He's visibly relieved it's over. Don't be so relieved yet, Gary. This bad cop may have it in for your apartment, admiring your mug collection, perhaps a little intimidation. So, Gary, you live nearby in an apartment in Martinez? Point in its direction. Sure do, officer. His eyes narrow slightly. He's wondering where this is going. Have you found your door open lately? In my home, yes, when I was going to... He turns pale. How did you know? Mr. Everard Clare thought it necessary to unlock your apartment. Mr. Clare unlocked my apartment? No, I did, per his request. So you work for Everard Clare. He realizes what's going on and changes his tone. Officer, please tell him we're good. No. Tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send Muscle after me. The man looks around, whispering. He makes sure no one hears you talk. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but he doesn't like you. I was probably talking too loud in the whirling the other night about some theories. Stupid, shouldn't have run my mouth like that. He looks around nervously. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you or the Union, just ask, okay? I'll try to help if I can. This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together. The weather vane has turned, the lieutenant remarks with a smirk. He cannot be unturned. He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have the chance. He may have even changed his mind about the whole door opening.
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath. Something worn underneath of it? Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. Oh shit! One that makes clinking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives. I see you're a connoisseur of high-quality combat gear. He freezes, then sighs heavily. I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once. He unbuttons the shirt. You see gleaming white ceramic shine underneath. A thin layer of interlocking plates covers his gaunt torso. I was ashamed of what I did, and I didn't want you to know. We're not detecting falsehoods, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth. This shame is surprisingly sincere. Gary, what's going on? Later, Morel, I've got apologizing to do. No, you've got explaining to do. And its tone is icy. Give me that armor, now. Hell yeah. He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hand, smelling of sweat. But so light to hold, like a bag of cotton. Why did you really put those clothes in the trash? Everyone was picking those pieces off of him, and I was watching them do it. They scattered his clothes all over the yard. Everything was smelling. He looks at his feet. So I went there to take out my trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and he swallows. I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have. Lips start quivering. Fuck. It's okay, the lieutenant jots something down in his notebook. It was a loose end, and you're tying it up now. I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man, he says silently. Seolite officers commanded the Suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when he shakes his head. They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly. It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. Face does not beguile emotions. Why did you lie to me, Gary? Because I was weak, he says, staring at nothing in particular, but I should have told you the moment I saw you, but... The hell, Gary, you in trouble? I'll explain later. He doesn't muster up the strength to yell. Do you know who killed the hanged man? I always thought it was the Union, but I sure as hell won't go around saying that anymore. You have my word. I don't know, I won't be running my mouth on this subject anymore. This is all he knows. Are we done here, Gary? Alright. Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. He looks around, relieved of some burden, his mouth still quivering. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word. Thanks for your cooperation.
Always, I mean...
I never did that. Okay, I think it's about time that we, make a manual save. I think it's about time we kind of... I'm going to say that we head back for the day. Yeah, we'll come back and explore the boardwalk tomorrow. It's a pretty big area, but this is like the last area I have to explore from the coast. That and the church itself. Yeah, because I explored all of this. Okay. A little black swallow circles above you. You're a chirp.
Tequila sunset.
Hey, sorry for being a buzzkill earlier. I'll supply you the booze if you supply the stories. Here, I've got a potent pilsner. Not much, but it'll do. He grabs the bottle from your hand and uncorks it immediately. Before he can start, one of the other bums interjects. Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that? Gurgles in the Santos man. Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. He turns to you. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George. But around here, you already know. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual, a founder / junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. Go on. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator, abstract value per person, high concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me, so I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane. Wait, how many people did you have working for the jogging help? It did. With my trusty status tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. He says thoughtfully, brushing dust off his shirt, shit-stained pants. What happened? One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets. He shakes the bottle and makes a ringing sound. His eyes are clouded, his dilated blood vessels encircling his irises like stinging brambles. His eyes are your eyes. So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. At least that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet very quickly. How wet are we talking exactly? Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. There's a trace of derision. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key for the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. I would have landed on my feet. I've got feline reflexes. No, you don't. Whatever, the point is, reality was looking rather grim, and then me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up. So I made my way across the yard, standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets. I realized I'd also forgotten my apartment key. You've got to be shitting me. He turns his head towards the skies and says, I wish I were, Tequila, I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key to the office. Okay, so what happened next? I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could explain the situation. People are naturally wary of admin, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best. He pauses meaningfully. heavy is the head that wears the crown. Just then I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I had asked one of my producers to change the locks that day, and since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this. So now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? He takes a long swig of his drink. Wait, is that it? I feel like there's some steps missing. Tequila, I've thought about this series of events for a long time. If there was anything else to it, I would have thought of it by now. Why didn't you go to the authorities? Well, at one point they came to me, but, you know, I didn't have any ID on me, so they tossed me in jail for 2 days. I can't say it increased my faith in the RCM. No offense, gentlemen, he shakes his head. I'm almost homeless myself. Doesn't seem so bad. The hobo lifestyle definitely has some perks. Not having to pay rent, first and foremost. Not being responsible for 20 other people is nice, too. But that charm wears off pretty quickly. Before you know it, you're wearing shit-stained tracksuit and spending your days picking air? Why do you keep losing all your stuff? Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging around on a bench in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty two-piece Lycra tracksuit? I used to own my own reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment, an even nicer piece of ass, but somehow it all got away from me. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it too. The only thing I haven't lost are these two drunks. You of all people should empathize with this. Perhaps this lost jacket is something you could help with. What was the name of your agency? My agency, man, he takes a long melancholy sip. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. The color red, breasts, and oil painting. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients were happy. I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic language, but then it all went to shit. He looks toward the bay. Sounds intriguing. What say you, art cop? If it sounds like it makes no sense, that's because it doesn't. Man, mixing high and low, commodifying culture, that is extremely my shit. I know. He takes a long, wistful sip of beer. It was fucking awesome. I know. Too bad I went on a jog, unleashing a cascade of doom that washed it all away. What's up with the tracksuit? What? You never seen a 100% like Lycra before? Go on, feel that primo material. The man extends his arm. You really shouldn't touch it. Good God, it's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human. Randomized trials have also found Lycra to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers. So you should have that to look forward to. And then there's the smell, but you don't even want to think about that. Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum, honestly. He takes another sip. Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it. That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay, and you could wash them anytime. What about the other drunks? My fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcoholics? They're exactly what they look like. Hey, Tequila, you want to buy some speed? Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop, remember? I thought he was a cool cop. A gurgling sound comes from the direction of the non-responsive. And yeah, you're basically acquainted with Abs. He points out the man in the pipe. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together. What's this about a lost jacket? Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my Lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less. He looks at you bleary-eyed. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What you say, Tequila? Okay, sure. Where'd you lose it? If I knew where I lost it, do you think I'd have it? I mean, maybe it was up by the boardwalk, or walking along the beach, or checking out the abandoned fish market. That's a lot of places. Somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's seen it. Let me ask you something else. Hear the story of your name again. A name. Before you can start the other bump. Hey, Spiral Boy, you can blah, blah. Oh god, I didn't really want to trigger this totally. You got any more stories? I do, but as long as my fuel tank is running quite low. You catch my drift. He spins the bottle in his hand. Not a single drop of liquid remains. Christ. Oh my god, the dialogue in this game is huge. Store is closed for today. Alright, I will go to sleep here. Before I do that, scribble between the thighs of a page girl. Yes, I got the mercenary's name and a few biographical details. Are you ready? The lieutenant leans in. Listen, notebook in hand. Shoot. That suit of armor was issued to an Orangese citizen named Ellis Porti in there. That's blah, blah, blah. Exact date of birth is unknown. He was signed into Lelystad on February. Neonatal care unit? He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2. According to Classier, Lele said his real name wasn't really his. Perhaps that's because he was foster. This is what ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the military academy at 17, then served in the Orangese forces until he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before. Then the armor followed him to the Semini, or at least I assume it did. Then that's it. There are no records of his employment in Krenel or any other indications or even entering Revachol. Wait, he was found in a leaf compactor? It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had. The only detail in those files, so I thought it would be good for you to know. It is. Thank you, Alice. Any information on his foster parents? None. Sorry, officer. So we have to connect him to all we have to connect him is the armor. Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double check their inventory. He leans closer and shouts, "Thank you, Alice. Great work." No problem, Lieutenant. She sounds pleased. Well, we have his name and service record now. Run the number on the victim's armor. Great. That's a big bunch of experience. A name. This is very good. Ellis Portinaire says to himself. This means something to him. To know that name, like naming a case. It's important. Sometimes police work is about human dignity, about giving back names to anonymous victims. I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation officer. Do you have any other questions? Sweet. Nice. Oh, now we just need to sing karaoke. So, let's do that. Actually, a couple things I want to do. If we can get her to tell us, let's try and pass her skill check. What was it?
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask. Hey, Lena, I'd like to ask you about some of the cryptids you've studied. Can you just tell me about a couple of them? Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company, too. The lieutenant throws you one of his looks. One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. Okay, Kim. Just one little cryptid, promise. He nods and assumes the waiting posture. Cryptids. Let's hear about all the interesting cryptids. Ooh, tough choice there. Is that a cryptid on this pen you gave me? Yes, it's the kind green ape. Half war story, half undiscovered species. Okay, I am going to skip through. Oh, jeez. Gross. I'm just skimming this. Are there any invisible cryptids? I'm just... We're going. Can't right now. I ran into your husband on the coast. The old woman clasped her hands together over her blanket. Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't returned yet? He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back earlier because the water lock on the canal was broken. Now he's just finishing up some work. Oh yes, that's my moral. He's bound to catch a cold staying out there for so long. But I am so relieved to hear he's okay. Thank you for putting an old woman's heart at ease, even if even a little. You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging bodies fail. Her heart won't rest until Morel is safely back with her. You never told me you've seen the Phasmid. Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings. No, I really want to know. Reflexively, the lieutenant readies his familiar notebook. Well, it was summer, she starts. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beaches near the tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. I don't know how much people. This shit sucks. Who cares? You're old and crazy.
Oh, hello, dear.
Okay, great.
Can I help you?
No, you don't. It's not happening. Part of my quest of self-discovery helped me. The Whirling's not a charity or a musical therapy clinic. It's a commercial establishment. You're going to scare away the customer. Let me say I'm sorry. By causing more trouble, I think we're good. RJ, I found a new bird for the Whirling. Give him the ruffled grouse. What is this thing? Man takes the stuffed bird. It's no biggie. I just thought it would look nice on the wall. I'm that kind of cop. What? The interior decorating kind? He inspects the bird somewhat suspiciously, then mellows. You know, I'm sorry. This is actually a nice bird. Competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. He hesitates. So, I don't know. Thank you? I'm gonna go with thank you. People don't just know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy. He likes it. He likes the bird. Solves his broken bird problem. I feel good about our work here today, the lieutenant nodded. It's about the little thing. Like bringing people random stuffed animals. It's not actually about that, but he liked it. He begins confidently, but then stumbles on his own word. It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone. Great karaoke. What happened in 44? A lot of people got killed because some asshole wanted to sing karaoke. When was the last time you let a band play here? It's not for bands. It's for clients. Some clients, okay? Not you. I'm a real client. I've paid my bills, and I have the right to use the karaoke machine. Ah, well, he comes the counter argument. We don't have any tapes. They all got stolen. Alright, I have my own song with me. The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape just given him. He begins to frown hard. Fine, fine. Climb up on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. He shakes the tape at you. I'll plug it in for you. Damn this karaoke machine. I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself. Oh yeah, time to do the damage. Stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet. You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly. So are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I turn on the karaoke carousel. The bar is full of buzzing with chatter. No one is paying any attention. Still, you feel turned to new. Okay, now a couple is even worse. You're sweating. They're going to hate you. Put your lips against the microphone, test it. Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. You feel like an amateur. How are you supposed to hold the mic? Should you sing into it? Where should you... Hands. Where do you put your hands? A hand conundrum. Too close to the mic. Okay, I'm going to sing karaoke. I can see that. The lieutenant steps on stage ready. Alright, hang on. Feels right, you belong. We're gonna load the quick save, and we're gonna do this right. Drama. We're going for maximum. Dirt. We're doing crazy ass thing. Both sides. Feels right, you belong here. I'm ready, Garte. Hit play. The air is thick with anticipation. Someone dims the lights and the music starts. Okay, here we go.
I would often go there, to the tiny church there, the smallest church in Saint-Saëns, though it once was larger. How the realm may rest there. Down through the mist there, toward the Seven Sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there, in that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
A lazy applause fills the room. You feel your hands shake as awareness of your body returns to you. Huh? Please don't fire me. I don't want to dedicate this song to anyone. I performed it for myself. Microphone amplifies your voice and back to talking now. Good, good. The cafeteria manager intervenes at the moment. Are we ready? I want to unplug the microphone. Last words. Evening will come. We will sow the white sail. Workers of the world, unite. We did it. So stupid. What the fuck? Oh my god. Fucking game. Okay, Monday. We're done with all those. Yeah. All Monday tasks are complete. Did it. Goddamn legend. Okay, cool. Tasks. Could it be the cold? Seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Lena said it was high-pitched, right? Something tickled her ear. And also said that it couldn't possibly be heard by other animals, including humans. You must be hearing must be a regular bird. Honestly, your ear isn't hearing a whole lot. The distant hum of the industrial harbor, the traffic, but admittedly there is a high-pitched noise somewhere there too. But then, isn't there always? Wait, Kim, do you hear a high-pitched noise? No, I don't. I don't hear the cold. Neither do you. Of course he doesn't. He's deaf. Listen closely for me. There it is again. You're about to rediscover a long-lost species. Keep listening. It must be very close, maybe. And it will come toward you. What are you doing? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist. The only birds you should be looking for are healthy women of childbearing age. Oh no, the sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it. Nope, too late. It's gone. There are no ringing anymore. Just the sound of the street. No, come back, please. Keep your ears peeled then if you're my creator device. Oh man. Yeah, wasn't there a thing about trying to open nothing with or not? I don't know. Okay. Try the there's a bullet in there. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over. Everything is silent. Put your fingers in his oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track. Play with it. This feels right. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is delicate to the touch from soft meat, budding, hard pearls of bone in the gums, back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in. Open your eyes and look. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the air in the back of his mouth. Above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished, no longer larger than a 0.4 centimeter. Edges appear dark. This is it. He agrees. Keep going. Touch it with your finger gently. Black trickle of liquid runs through his throat from. Put your finger in. Your index finger fits right up there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage, wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, reach his mouth right into brainstem. Yes, that's what this part is called. You've seen the drawings. You've studied them. Feel around first. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. The bullet has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again, never wake. Push deeper. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. The ululations of the limbic system all is quiet. The cavity is here, cut right between the hemisphere. The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper. Push deeper. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him. Wriggle in. Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly, cold jelly. Strange fluids streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. This must be the bullet. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush. Fish it out. You pick the sharp metal bullet between your index and middle finger with your face twisting from pain and concentration. All you need to do is just whisper, "I got it." Good. The fridge in the background buzzes with excitement. Slowly pull your fingers. The inside of the head feels cold and smooth like a glove as you pull out, sweat dripping below your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead. A bullet. The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it. Drop it in. Bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says, "Unknown caliber, rifled, some kind of brittle alloy, fractured on impact. Can I have it?" "Of course, you've earned it." The lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hand. It feels light. He turns to his notebook. "We just need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with a abrasion collar, soft palate, back of mouth." Jesus. That was scary. High velocity, temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. Underlines the injury forcefully. How does that sound? Opinion, fatal injury. This concurs with the Hardy Boys story and Colossier's. Click, click goes the pen, and one last thing. We should amend injury number 3, ligament mark, treatment. Obviously, the Hardy Boys tampered with it. We should have known. He nods. I had my doubts. There were no signs of a struggle on his hands, no claw marks on his neck, but still. His brow furrows while his eyes glaze over. Looks regretful for not figuring this out before. Maybe the bullet holds more answers? Yes, we should take a closer look. I'm certain it has more to tell us. This little thing could reveal as much as the weapon that shot it. I think I need to wash myself. Wash off the death smell. Oh, he nods. You really, really do. I'm glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling and Rags could come with a bathroom. Sure to make. What happens next? We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen. My canoe. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. You'll be gone? What should I do in the meanwhile? Work on the case, tend to personal matters, try not to do anything too dangerous. Officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave the choice to you. And one more thing. Breathing eye, great work. After you bag the corpse, Kim will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. We're gonna do this real quick. Interact with bullet. The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label in the bag with a item number, case number. Bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny shriveled head of cauliflower. What do I do with you, Bullet? What? The lieutenant steps closer. I said, what do I do with you, Bullet? Well, if I was the Bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me. Good idea. If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better. Peel the bullet through the bag. The squash bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open if pulled even. Back the bullet closer. Jacket of the bullet is made out of yellowish material, has blossomed out to reveal dark gray core. Base of the bullet is close to 5 mm in diameter. Look at the jacket. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. And the core? It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound. What can you say about the bullet so far? It's a jacketed bullet close to 5 mm in diameter. A jacketed bullet. Okay, it would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not a muzzle loader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez. Even the RCM uses ordinary, unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange, very strange. I like this, officer. Something seems unique. Unique means incriminating. You need to find the gun that shot it. Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This will have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while. Nothing. A rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the probably. Not sure if fake. The 4.46 caliber was used. The Bell McGraw rifle of a Shalian manufacturer that dominated the battlefield. The Insulindian theater, the anti-revolution. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the commercial area. It's unusable. If it was, the bullet would probably fit the chamber. Is anyone still making these rifles? No, but Zilliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there was still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Used the Bill McGraw rifles, these geeks, enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters, and few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only working on. The lieutenant jots something down in the notebook. What are you thinking, bullet? I think I know where this came from. Dangle the bag thoughtfully. Okay, and? The shot probably came from a Bell McGrive rifle. An antique, that makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles around in Martinez or Revachol, really. Why not? Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibit the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy. Been effective from what I've seen. Some of the new RCM recruits get impatient with muscle loader. They've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end. Makes you consider every shot. I like it. Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, the third, so on, become much easier. But back to the investigation. Seems we're looking for an antique. Doesn't mean it doesn't seem that likely, but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself. Alright, let's see if there's anything. Can we talk to the dice maker before we send Kim to get rid of the body? He has a skill check. At rank 5. Alright. Why hasn't her business failed? Wow, we did it! A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For one moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere. This is just a theory, but hear me out. I think I know why your business hasn't failed. Didn't we already talk about this, she asks, as the wind continues to seep in from the cracks of the old chimney? Because you're not in the same building as the others. This isn't technically the doomed commercial area. What are you talking about, she says, shaking her head. My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10. No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture, its ruins swallowed up, yet it has a different address in the heart of the city. No, this used to be the coal plant. Touch the safety curtains. You're in a chimney of another building. This doesn't make any sense. She looks around in the makeshift nest that has carved out for herself, bewildered. Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? I'm just using logic. It's windy in here. You probably haven't properly sealed the chimney crown on above. She says, looking up. You're right. I should go take a trip up to the roof once the snow is gone. Does that mean I'm safe from failure? Don't let her become complacent. She still needs to war her soul against evil forces. No one's ever really safe from failure. She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away exhaustion from her face. What? You want to know what this is? Raises her hand to reveal a piece of metal shining from on her index finger. Looks like a regular piece of jewelry to me. It's a mourning ring, she replies. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my... I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan. See, the curse is real. I bet you didn't run this little jewelry shop from the protective depths of the chimney. No, you're right. I didn't. She laughs again, but it sounds rather small and sad. It wasn't the jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world, that you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me, what? Closes her eyes, that it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. It's entropy. Yeah, she stares out the window, not really hearing your words. Or maybe it's the entire world that's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you wanted. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be. You can try again. Still, there's something inherently violent, even about dice roll. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternate ending or an entirely different world picks up a pair of dice from the table and examines them under the light. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer. Gives you a tired soul. God, there's so many thoughts in this game. Crazy. Okay, I'm gonna tell Kim to get rid of the body, and because at this point we're about to go to sleep. We're gonna wrap up. Quick save. Got it. Let's bag him, Kim. Take him away. Alright, he takes out a shiny black body bag and starts to pull in the plastic over the head. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs. Bag the corpse and drag it to the back. Nice. Okay. How much was Kuno selling them that one shit for?
Fuck, does Kuno care?
Alright, we'll save here and we'll try like the dump. But that's going to be the end of day 4, more or less. Start on day 5. I think we're getting near the end. I mean, we seem to have explored most of the game at this point, save for that island, but we probably got a decent bit left, so we'll see how much there's left for tomorrow. But yeah, until next one, peace.